guys, and happy Woolly Wednesday. This is a Knitcast video. I can't remember what number we're on. I stopped numbering for Flossmas, and now I have to figure out what number Knitcast we're on. I will figure it out by the time I post this video. So, good morning. Welcome. How are you today? I hope your week's going well. My week's been a little weird. I'm super tired because I have been staying up way too late. It's totally my own fault. I keep falling into the TikTok hole. If you're familiar with TikTok, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with TikTok, do yourself a favor and don't investigate. If you download the app, you will lose hours of your life, trust me. So, I feel like the biggest dork for staying up way too late watching TikTok, but there's some really interesting content on TikTok. And I get into some of the most interesting corners of the app too, just with the different things that I'm interested in and the different stuff that I like. So, yeah, so it has me thinking a lot of things that I may not discuss on the channel. We'll see. But yeah, so TikTok, yay. For those who are new here, welcome. My name is Jessie. This is mislaidpages, my channel where I talk about my crafty stuff, which is why I'm not going to talk about what I'm into on TikTok. It's not crafty, let me tell you. Anyway, yeah, so this is where I talk about all of my crafty things. On Wednesdays, I talk about knitting. On Fridays, I talk about my cross stitch. On Mondays, I am doing random stuff. I had hoped to already have my Monday video recorded by this point in the week, but yeah, it's just a spacey week. It just is, and it's my own fault. I'll get back on track this weekend, I'm sure. Maybe, who knows. I do have a dentist appointment this afternoon, so we'll see how that goes. So this is a follow-up to the sort of urgent appointment that I had right before Christmas. If you've been following along for the last couple of weeks, I had what I thought was a tooth infection, what I'm pretty sure was a tooth infection. And I was thinking I was going to have that tooth pulled, but the on-call dentist just gave me antibiotics, which made me feel fantastically much better, or made me feel a lot better. I feel much more normal. The tooth is still, it still feels wrong, like there's something not right about it, but I am not sick, and I'm not having a lot of pain. I'm mostly able to chew on that side of my mouth, but I have my appointment with my regular dentist today to discuss further what, if anything, needs to be done, and I still am waiting on the periodontist to give me a call back to schedule some super fun heavy-duty cleaning that will have to be done. So 2021 is going to be super fun in the dental arena for me. Yay. I know a lot of you following along have been through some of these dental fun times, so I know you know where I am with that. I'm sorry any of you have had to go through anything like that. It sounds like some of you have gone through stuff that's way worse than what I'm dealing with right now, so keep trying to keep it in perspective. But part of the reason I'm in this situation is because I don't like having things done to my mouth. I just don't. So I haven't kept up the regimen that I should have over the years as far as going to see the dentist and having things taken care of. So that's where we are. And I'm trying to be a brave little toaster and just do what needs to be done. I'm doing the best that I can. Going to the dentist today is a big step for me because I actually I'm not super anxious, and the cats are fighting. I'm not super anxious, I'm not super freaked out. Partly is I've gone to this particular dentist enough now that I feel comfortable with him. I feel comfortable with his staff, with the techs and everything. They've made me feel very safe, which is incredibly important. So I expect that I may get a tooth extracted today. I expect that they might decide to pull that, but we'll just have to see how it goes. I expect that I should still be able to do my flosstube Friday and whatever other videos over the weekend, and that's part of the reason that I'm filming this morning, first thing, so that I make sure that I get Woolly Wednesday up, because I don't know what state I'm going to be in this afternoon. It's entirely possible he'll decide to do nothing, and just wait until I can get all the stuff done with the periodontist, and then we'll determine whether that tooth needs to be pulled or not. We'll just have to see. Just have to see. That's enough dental talk. I had not expected to get all into that this morning. Yeah, so I have galaxy brain. I'm just all over the place. So I guess I'm just going to tell you whatever I tell you. I think it's fine though because I don't have a lot of knitting to share with you. So it'll give you something to listen to if you're just here for the weekly chat. So, and I know at least one of you is here for that. Hi, Cal. So yeah. So let's talk about some knitting. I have not done a ton of knitting. Most of what I did last weekend was cross stitching, and probably there will be a lot of cross stitching this weekend too. It's interesting. I'm noticing as my like my mental capacity goes up and down and my energy levels go up and down. When I have a lot of energy and I'm feeling very motivated and very like can do, I do a lot of cross stitching because I think it takes a lot more mental energy to be able to focus and stay on task and do all of that sort of stuff. So when I'm feeling like super energetic, it's all cross stitch. And then this week, because I've been staying up too late, it's all knitting. I haven't done any cross stitching, excuse me, since Sunday. Yeah, I think Sunday was the last day I cross stitched. So I have done a fair bit of knitting, but it doesn't look like much progress when I pull it out. So let's get into it. I haven't worked at all on my white elephant. I think I'm kind of in a knitting block on that because I don't want to finish the pattern, and I'm not really sure. I don't know. I've been more into this piece. So this is my Secret Life of Cats and Dogs shawl. The pattern is by Casapinka, who is apparently now my favorite knitting designer. And to be fair, I don't know a lot of knitting designers, and I think I'm going to love Erin Curup of Remade by Hand just as much, but Casapinka is the one whose patterns I've worked with the most, and I love the way she does her patterns. So this is the third Casapinka design I have worked on, and I have plans in the works for a couple more. And I'll talk about that in plans in a little bit. So this is the Secret Life of Cats and Dogs, patterned by Casapinka. The yarns that I'm using are Ruby and Rose's 2020 Christmas Advent. And these yarns are so awesome. Like, I can't even tell you how much I love these yarns. They're so soft and lovely to work with. They're a little stretchy. And this is where we are so far. So I'm trying to hold it up so that it's as straight as possible. And I just started section 5. Yesterday, and you can just barely see it. I've got about 5 rows or 6 rows in, and I don't remember all the color names. I'm certainly not, I'm not in a headspace where I can tell you all the color names. This blue is Winter Wonderland, I think, which is still my favorite color so far. But I love the way the colors are knitting up. There's this big long marled section, so this is marling, which I had not heard about until I started this pattern. And marling is essentially taking 2 different colored yarns and holding them together while you knit. And the next, the section that I'm working on now, section 5 and section 6, both also have marling in different ways. So there will be a marled section with this pink, and then the next section after that will have marling as well. So I really like the way this is turning out. Hold it up a little closer so you can see. I'm trying to see in the camera while also holding it up so that it will focus. So that's what we have so far. Look at all the colors. How fantastic are these colors? I just love them. They look so good. I love the way they look. And I actually, I'm curious to see just how many leftovers I will have, because so far, most of the main colors that I've used, I still have like half of the mini skein. So it's almost like I could have used a 10 gram instead of a 20 gram. So I might have enough of these to be able to do a really fantastic scrappy something. So we'll have to see how that goes. So that's where my Secret Life of Cats and Dogs is. So I'm on what would be considered day 5. And I'm well into it because I'm halfway through this part of the section, so there's another 6 rows or so to do for this part, and then there's a couple of rows of marling, and then I think there's a couple of rows of stockinette after that, and then I switch colors. So I'm pretty far into this section. I'm really liking how this is progressing. So that is that. Let's see. And then I do have a new start also. I had not specifically planned on doing a new start, but the new year started. Oh, happy New Year, by the way. The new year started, and folks are talking about doing temperature stitch alongs and temperature knit alongs and temperature crochet alongs and all that sort of stuff. I know Rachel is she's backed up on hers because all of her stuff is back in Ireland, but she is staying in the States for a while, so she's not starting on her temperature crochet blanket until she gets back to Ireland, so that's going to be a while. But with all the talk of temperature things, I was like, I feel like I need to do a temperature shawl. I just feel like I need to do it. Now, I started a temperature blanket ages ago. In 2018, I started a temperature blanket, and it was a corner-to-corner crochet temperature blanket, which is similar to what Rachel's doing. I used a much thicker yarn because I think I used basic worsted weight yarn. She's using a very thin and delicate yarn to crochet hers, so it'll be very different, I think, than how mine was turning out. But I think I gave up on it somewhere in March. I recorded all the temperatures for the entire year. I have that charted right here, in fact. Let me show you. Because it looks fancy to me. So, I can't believe I still have this, that it was still like easy to reach and all this sort of stuff. I'm not good at keeping track of things sometimes, so this is what that started looking like. And you can see I've used pins to color code everything. It looks all fancy. And I was using a Lion brand Pound of Love yarn because I had a ton of it. I was making baby blankets at the time, and me and rainbows. I love rainbows, so I had a rainbow full of baby blanket colors. And then here is, so I got onto April 1st, is how far I got. But you can see I have all the temperatures for the rest of the year. I have my little chart here. It looks so cute. I was super big into bullet journaling. I was trying to do bullet journaling at the time, which is why I have this all set up the way it is. How fancy. Look how fancy. Me being all fancy. But yeah, I got into April, and then I kind of gave up. Oh, there's a page of sketches right after when I started. Okay. That's weird. I skipped 2 pages and then did some random sketches. So they're in the way of my new temperature stuff. So I may have to redo my new temperature stuff. So this is my new setup. I haven't gotten out the markers to do the fancy colors, but I have my setup all done that way. And this time I'm using Loops and Threads Impeccable. And it says it's a medium weight, but this stuff is thick, y'all. Like triple C thick. Is super thick. It feels to me almost as thick as my my glamping blanket yarn, which is a super chunky yarn. And it might just be because I'm so used to working with fingering weights now that anything that's not fingering weight just feels so thick. But anyway, so I have a rainbow of colors. I'm not going to show you the full rainbow today just because time and they're elsewhere and I don't want to go get them. So I'm being that chick today. So yeah, let me show you what I have so far. So at first I was going to do, I have this super long, I know I'm going to need lots of circular needle length. I know I'm going to need the length eventually, but it's just kind of annoying and in the way at the moment because I have such a tiny amount. So I'm using a pattern that I actually got for free with a Karen cake, and if you have been watching since the beginning of my knitting adventures, this is the exact same pattern that I am using on a Karen cake that I started last year. So it's super simple. It's going to be a triangular shawl. It'll go up to the middle of the year, and then it will start decreasing. So there's just a yarn over to increase every other row, and it's a garter stitch. So it's super, super simple. And you can see Virginia has already effed up the pretty colors. Because I started with the purple just because I knew we probably wouldn't get temperatures that are really that low. So I did those first few rows in purple because I did all kinds of math to make it do right. It's probably not going to work out in the end, but we'll see. So the purple is just the start, and then so the first blue row there, or 2 blue rows, That's the actual start of the year. And then we had a 65-degree day in the middle of January, or in the beginning of January. So there's a stripe of yellow, and then we're back to the blue. And originally I was going to do just one row of each color, so one row per day. But then I realized that that was going to have me possibly having to add in colors on the wrong side rows, and that was going to be annoying and complicated for me the way that I prefer to weave in ends. So then I decided to do 2 rows for each color. Now once I get past these really short rows, I may start doing, especially you know, if we end up with a week or so where it's mostly the same temperature every day, and I'm not having to change colors as much, I may actually go to 1 row per day, especially as it gets longer. But the idea is that we'll go up to the end of May and June, end of June. Go up to the end of June and then start decreasing at that point, and then hopefully all the stuff will work out so that when I get to the decreases, I'll have just enough days, and then I'll have like 6 rows or something to knit after the 31st. So that is my temperature shawl. I need to cut these little yellow threads because they're hanging out all weird. But yeah, so that's a new start. Let's talk some plans. So obviously I'm going to plan, I shouldn't say obviously, I'm definitely going to plan to continue working on my Secret Life of Cats and Dogs. I'm having a lot of fun with that. I love the color changes, I love the texture changes. I'm a little disappointed that there's so much marling right at the beginning here, just because it's the same thing. It's not the exact same thing over and over, because she is moving it around and doing different stuff with it, but at the same time I'm like, let's do a different technique now. Like, we've done the marling now, let's move on. But I've seen pictures of the finished shawl and it looks really, really cool, so I know it's going to be worth it in the end. And realistically, these sections are pretty short. I mean, they're 20 rows each, less. So yeah, it'll be fine. But I'm definitely going to continue working on it. I really love the colors. It's so fun. It's going to look so cool when it's done. So definitely going to continue on that. My most immediate plans, I'm really hoping to do a new start on Inauguration Day. And the reason I want to do a new start on Inauguration Day is because Casapinka has re-released a pattern. She originally called it Inauguration Consolation Shawl, and she had originally released it the day that our current sitting president was inaugurated into office. She has revamped it and renamed it as Inauguration Celebration Shawl, and so I'm hoping to start that on January 20th, because I think that would be a really fun way to celebrate the change of power and, you know, hopefully a new, more positive path for the United States, assuming we get there. I'm a little nervous. Today is a big day in the United States. If you're not aware, today is the day the Electoral College will put out their official votes, and that Congress will certify those votes to make it super official that Joe Biden will become our next president on the 20th of January. There could be some monkey wrenches. There could be some weird stuff happening. I know that there's a lot of unrest in Washington, D.C. right now. There's a lot of unrest throughout the country, but I know that protests are happening. So it could be an interesting day. Fingers crossed that today just happens and everything gets certified and we have a new president on January 20th. Fingers crossed. But those of us who've been listening to the news here in the States know that certain individuals have been working nonstop to try to make that not happen, to put any kind of wrench in that plan that they can. So let's hope and pray that today is a nice quiet day and that democracy in the United States works like it was intended to work, and that everything moves forward like it should. So I don't know if you can hear that peeping. That's Loki. He hardly ever talks, And when he does, he has this super high-pitched squeaky noise. It's hilarious. He's playing in the curtain currently. Can you hear that? I don't know if he's loud enough because it's like beep beep beep. He's the funniest cat. Anyway, he only peeps like that when he's very upset or when he's really excited. And he loves playing in the curtain, so he's super excited. Anyway. So yeah, let's hope today's uneventful. That the only event today is that the Electoral College votes and certifies that Joe Biden will be our next president. So, that being said, those are my plans. Oh, I hadn't finished talking about the inauguration celebration shawl. So, it's designed for 3 colors of fingering weight yarn, and I was racking my brain because I didn't want to buy new yarn for it, because at this point, getting the yarn in for inauguration day is going to be near impossible. It doesn't matter how close, like maybe if I ordered it from... Okay, I'm not going to talk myself into buying stuff, but I was going to say, maybe if I ordered it from Paisley Pearl, and she already had it dyed, maybe I could get it here in time, because she's in Virginia, so it might actually arrive before the 20th. But the point is, I don't want to buy more yarn. But the fabulous yarn I have on hand, and my whole station is junk here. Sorry about that. I have not tidied up. But as you can see, I have a lot of yarn here. I also have more yarn in this lower bin here. I have a lot of yarn. My problem is that I don't have 3 skeins that go together in a way that makes me happy. So, I could totally throw 3 random skeins together, but I'm not going to love the way it looks. So what I'm considering doing is actually making the inauguration celebration shawl a scrappy shawl. I think the pattern is simple enough that I can probably do whatever I want to with it. And the idea of a scrappy shawl is just really appealing to me for this particular pattern because of the whole idea of it. So the idea is that America is a melting pot, you know, that the country is made up of a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds, and the idea is we're supposed to celebrate our differences while coming together as a global, not a global, a national community. That's what we're supposed to be doing. It's not what's really happening, but at least not all over the place, not the way we would like it to. But we're supposed to be a melting pot. We're supposed to be a place where people can come and be themselves, be free to be themselves, while being part of a larger community as well. And I'm thinking, if I make inauguration celebration a scrappy shawl, then I'm sort of in yarn form creating a situation where all the different colors can come together and be harmonious in one place, and join together to make something beautiful. And that feels really good to me, that idea. So I'm really kind of leaning towards doing a scrappy shawl. So yeah, and I have enough scraps so far that I should at least be able to get started pretty well on it. We'll have to see how far I can get with the scraps that I currently have, but I have the scraps from my mixtape cowl, which is not a ton of yarn, but it's enough to get started. And I also have my scraps from the Infinity mini skein scarf, and I think I have a decent amount of those colors left. And then I'm starting to have scraps. I've got some scraps from my white elephant, and I've got some scraps from I'm starting to have some scraps from my Secret Life of Cats and Dogs. So I've got enough to get started, I think, and I think it would be really interesting to kind of play with all those colors and just put them together. I'm trying to decide whether I'm actually going to take them and take what I have and put it all together and sort of do it in a fade situation, or if I'm literally going to take the yarns as I used them and knit them together as I used them originally, so that it's sort of its own type of temperature shawl, because it'll be sort of like a roadmap of the different projects that I've worked on and finished. So we'll see. But I'm playing around. I don't know why I need my projects to have this many layers of meaning, but it just sounds really cool to me. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. So that's coming up pretty quick. It is the 6th today, so we have 2 weeks. 2 weeks until Inauguration Day. Part of me is holding my breath on this whole plan too, because like I said, we're waiting to see what happens today. So, okay, so that's it for plans. That's what's happening now. That's what's going to be happening very shortly. I have bought more yarny things, purchased yarny things that will get here after a few months. I'll talk about those later. I keep trying not to buy things, and then I buy things anyway. So I will say I've had much more self-control than I usually do, because there's probably been 6 or 7 things released in the last few days that I might have knee-jerked and purchased previously, but I actually only purchased one of them. So progress. But yeah, so let's talk about some stuff that I did purchase and have already received. I think I mentioned this last week before, probably right before Christmas. Forbiddenfiberco had leftover mini skeins from the various things that they were doing, and they put together packs of mystery skein grab bags, basically. So I bought 2 of them. I have received them, and we're going to open them together right now. So these are my mystery packs. This is how they came to me in their little bag from Forbiddenfiberco, and I just totally turned it. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so let's see what skeins we got. I figured this would be a fun way to just like get some extra random colors, because I haven't seen a color that I didn't like from Forbiddenfiberco, so this should be pretty fun. Ooh. So this is not quite what I expected. I thought there were going to be 5 smaller skeins. These are actually 3 larger skeins. Okay, let's see what we got here. So first of all, we have Giant Meteor 2020. So it came with a pin, which is kind of cool. They do these kind of funny pins occasionally. This is pretty cool. I like that. Giant Meteor 2020. And then we've got, and this almost looks like a fade set, actually. Let's see if there are color names here. So this is Unrequited Affection, which reads more to me like envy because it's so green. How pretty is that? That's really pretty. So this is their Gluttony Sock Mini. It's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. Oh, and this is a 40-gram mini skein. Okay. So it's 150 yards, 40 grams. So that's about double the mini skeins that I got in my white elephant. That's really nice. And then this color, let's see, these should all be the same base. Yeah. So this is called Jasper, which is from the Steampunk collection. It is also green, but we've got some sort of brown tan accents in there. It's a bit of a deeper green. Very nice. And then this last one in this pack is Hark the Herald Angels Sing. So this is a 2018 Christmas, from the 2018 Christmas collection. And that is sort of yellow and gold. It's got some cream with just a hint of a pink right there at the end. Very, very nice. I like that these are coordinated. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to be getting. And I like the fact that if I wanted to, I could actually use these 3 together, because they are sort of in a fade kind of situation. There we go. This one's got a lot more blue in it. This is probably my favorite of this little set, because of the kinds of greens, and there's a little bit of blue and teal. You all know me and teal. So that's fun. Let's see what this other pack is. Ooh. This one's got some purples in it. Or at least stuff that's leaning towards purple. Okay, stuff is caught. No! Okay. So we got another giant meteor pin. Giant meteor. This has 4 mini skeins in it. So I think these are probably smaller. Let's see. This is Malicious Pursuits from the Steampunk collection. This is 40 grams. That's really pretty. So it's like dark red and maroon and some gray, a little bit of tan brown there. It's really nice. This is pretty. I like this a lot. This is also 40 gram. This is Happy Little Trees from the 2019 fall collection. It's interesting that it says Happy Little Trees because this reads as sort of a gray to me, like a mottled gray-black. But it might be a really dark green. I don't know. It reads gray to me. Gray-black. But it's pretty. I like it. This one is Cozy Evening from the 2019 fall collection. So this is a nice deep brown red kind of color. This is also 40 grams. I'm surprised that this one came with 4 skeins and the other one came with 3, because they're all 40 grams. This is Winter Wonderland from the Christmas holiday. I can't tell what year that is, but Winter Wonderland. So that is a black, like pale pink kind of situation happening there. It's really pretty. Very nice. Okay, so these are the 4 colors. Maybe they just like sort of put together colors that would work together. I mean, because these would also work really, really well. Yeah. I dig it. I dig it. So, and being 40 gram skeins, these are actually, those are big enough that I could use them together on a project and not have to pull other random colors together that might not work. So, yeah, I like it. So last I checked, they still had these mystery grab bags on sale. They were not sold out yet, so if you're interested in something like, something like this, I get hiccups when I film. If you're interested in something like this, you can probably still get it from forbiddenfiberco, as well as many other lovely things. And here's the other set again. So I think these were running $30 for the sock base that I got. So pretty affordable to get some random colors. I like mystery colors for some reason. I don't know what it is. I have a hard time. If I just look at the colors that are available, it's really hard for me to decide that I want this color with that color with the other color. Like I'll buy sets that are coordinated, or I'll buy random colors that I won't know what they are until I get them. And I'm not sure why that is. I think part of it is like decision paralysis. Part of it is my perceived inability to coordinate colors. So I prefer somebody else's judgment to my own when it comes to that. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I will say I have another order from forbiddenfiberco coming. I ordered 2 skeins of what I think will be a good dark gray-black for my West knits to go with my Asylum Fibers 4 set. So I ordered that and something else. Oh, I ordered a set of their 2020 Christmas minis, I think. Might not have been 2020, it might have been an older set, I'm not sure. But a set of Christmas, the Christmas holiday collection minis. So those are coming. I think those have been shipped, so they'll probably be here next week, maybe the week after. Mail is still running really slow, so it'll be here when it's here. What else is coming soon? I think my Super Nerdy Yarn Club should be coming this month. I also think that, I forget whether it's the Golden Girls or the Fresh Prince, one of those clubs from Lady Di Yarns should be here this month. So yeah, lots of stuff coming. I haven't been getting as much cross-stitch stuff, but I've been buying so much yarn still. I don't know why. Maybe my brain feels like I need to fill up these bins. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you have enjoyed my rambly self. I thought this was going to be super short, but it's run just about as long as usual because I'm super chatty this morning, apparently. Between the sleep deprivation and the caffeine, something was working to be chatty, I guess. So let me go ahead and get going. Let you get going, so you can do whatever else you need to do today. I hope you're having a great day. I hope your week's going well. If it's not, I hope it gets better. And remember, as always, to stay hydrated. Make sure you drink your water. Take your meds if you need to take meds. And remember that good enough is good enough. And I'll see you again next time.